So joining me now to talk more about the flood damage in the southern tier is Senate Deputy Majority Leader Tom Libous. He represents all of Broome County and parts of Shenango and Tioga counties, including the city of Binghamton and the village of Owego, both of which suffered very severe flooding. Senator, thank you very much for your time. It is good to see you.
Well, Liz, it's good to take a break and talk with you. It's pretty rough down here.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, we are seeing, at least just Binghamton alone, infrastructure damage of $2.35 million. I mean, this is a very costly situation.
Those are early estimates just within the city. If you travel outside the city, going east to Conklin, many homes have been displaced. You travel through Johnson City, Endicott, and those are the western parts, Vestal, of Broome County, and then when you get into Tioga County, the village of Owego, just a couple of hours ago, was the first time we started letting people back into the village. The village has been literally shut down, and somebody told me that there were 93 businesses in downtown Owego, and 92 businesses were affected by the flood.
Wow. What was the one business that wasn't? Do we know?
You know, I'm not sure at this point in time. There had to be somebody who was on a little higher ground than most of the others. And, you know, in Nichols, New York, they're back to normal. I mean, I'll tell you a great story there if I can.
Please.
We sent 3 Black Hawk helicopters in there on Thursday because they were surrounded at a shelter. There were 400 people. I got an email from somebody that was at the shelter and said, we haven't had food or water since 4 a.m. And this was like 5 o'clock the next day. And we immediately sent the National Guard and met with General Murphy and the governor's people, and we sent 3 Black Hawk helicopters in there. They landed at the site because you couldn't get in there any other way. It was like an island, and the people were just ecstatic. So that was a great story. And today I learned that Jeff Gorell, the owner of Tioga Downs, actually paid for garbage haulers to go in through the streets and just pick up everybody's garbage for free. So there's a lot of kindness like that going on.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing because I think in the aftermath, of course, the first blush is people need to be safe, they need to be evacuated, then they need to go back and start dealing with the aftermath. But I don't think that anyone thinks in the early days about stuff like you're talking about here. Garbage pickup, fire protection if people can't get through. Obviously the electricity issue, which the governor now says that the PSC should be reviewing. I mean, all of this stuff just compounds and things that we hadn't even thought of in the early days.
Well, you get all that. You also, now you're dealing with disease and contamination because the water carries with it a lot of nasty things, and that's part of the process. You know, we send inspectors in each municipality, and the state has been helpful there by sending additional inspectors, and they go on and do an evaluation of the home. And some people were getting angry and mad because they want to get into their homes, and I respect that and understand it, but we don't want anybody going into a home where it's contaminated and it's going to do physical damage to them. That's not a good thing. Health and safety is now an important issue. We give people gloves and masks and boots to go into their homes, and as they begin, repairing them and tearing walls out, that's basically the process. I'm told that the Broome County landfill is almost full. We have contractors donating their time, picking up, bucket trucks full of just personal effects that have been destroyed and people have thrown out. It's very sad.
Senator, also on the very sad list is the fact that there's some reported looting, and you mentioned inspectors who need to get into people's homes, but on the other side of that are people who are pretending to be FEMA agents or pretending to want to buy people's valuables and give them money at a time when they really need it.
Yeah, if you're in the flooded area, the message that I would give you now is that after you call FEMA, and you should call the FEMA number because they are taking applications, they'll give you a registration number. You're to write that registration number down, and then usually within 3 days of the time your application is taken, a FEMA representative will visit you personally. They will either call you if you have a cell phone, or they'll come to your home. They'll recite the registration number to you. They'll show you identification. What's happening right now, there are bad people that are knocking on doors telling people that FEMA has sent them and they're contractors, and you should give them upfront money, and they'll go and help to get additional money from FEMA. If that happens to you and you're in one of the flooded areas, call the police immediately. If you think it doesn't sound right, it's probably not right. We also had sightings, Liz, of individuals knocking on doors and telling people, you know, give us your gold jewelry and sign this paper and we'll come back with a check for you. Please, please, please don't fall for any of those horrible stunts. Unfortunately, there are people that take advantage of tragedies when they happen, and we need to catch them. Actually, we did catch a group of people looting, and they arrested a whole, I think it was about a half a dozen of them, and they put them away.
Good, because that is, of course, the way it should be, and also, you know, people shouldn't be shy about calling law enforcement or calling the Attorney General's office if they think there's some kind of scam out there. You know, we talked about the price tag of this. The governor has estimated that the state's share, I mean, FEMA is responsible and usually picks up about 75%, and then 12.5% for locals, and then, of course, the state. The estimate is about $100 million, and he does not believe that they will have to come back. There have been some local officials who say they want the state to actually pick up the entire tab of their share. Do you think that they should? Well, you know, we went through this in 2006.
Right. And, it's always an interesting scenario. That's the frustration here down with all of us. You know, we just finished rebuilding some of the businesses and homes. It took 4 and 5 years, and then we got hit again. You know what? We'll figure it out, Liz. We'll figure it out. We are going to do assessments on the damage. Certainly, as I said to you, roads and bridges are important. We know FEMA pays 75%. We did not pick up the full share in the 2006 flood. We were very helpful, though. I think that there's got to be some sort of, you know, maybe meeting in the middle, but we'll get through it, and we want to help municipalities, we want to help individuals, and FEMA will do that. And we need to help businesses. You know, Liz, whether we have a company with 2,000 employees, if the business was ravaged, or 2 employees, that business with 2 employees is just important to us as the one with 2,000. We can't afford to lose a single job here. We want everybody to stay, and we're going to have to figure something out on the state side. I've been on the phone, you know, with the governor pretty much daily, and I talk with his staff regularly, and hopefully we'll come up with some ways to be helpful. But as you know, the southern tier isn't the only part of the state that's been hurt.
No.
Hurricanes have hurt Schoharie County and Delaware County. I mean, there's a whole host of areas that have been hurt.
But, Senator, the reality is that it's a trade-off, right? In other words, the state, and everyone generally agrees that the government's first responsibility is to keep people safe and to help them recover when they have disasters like this. The state is going to have to make sacrifices elsewhere, right? You might not be able to use all of that economic development money, for example, for incentivizing new business when you have existing businesses that need assistance.
Liz, you're absolutely right. One of the things, you know, we have the economic councils, and I respect what they're trying to do, but if we don't have adequate roads and bridges here in the southern tier, no new business is going to want to come here.
Right.
We have to do everything we can to hold the businesses we have. So, you know, I'm hoping that whether it be some of that economic development money or some other sort of funding, that we can at least repair the infrastructure and then begin to help businesses or convince them that they should stay here, because as we build the infrastructure around them, other things will come. And I hate to say this, and you know how I feel, and it's a whole other issue, but environmentally safe drilling would be a wonderful thing for this community.
Yeah, well, I know that the DEC appears at least to be moving in that direction, but I don't think it's going to be without a fight from the other side. I do want to switch gears. Go ahead, sure. Senator. I just want to switch gears for a second.
No, I was just going to say it's not going to happen overnight, but no. I think, you know what, even those people who oppose it, they have to open their minds a little bit. They have to look and see what's happening to the state. And, you know, it can be done in an environmentally safe way. But that'll be an issue for another day we'll discuss.
Senator, I do want to ask you a little bit about New York 9 and the surprising victory by your party there, and also what you believe it means for redistricting. There's a report in the Daily News today that your conference somehow struck some sort of deal with the Independent Democratic Conference to keep them safe in redistricting. Is that true?
Well, I think, Liz, a lot of people love to speculate, and you and I have had conversations about this sort of speculation. I don't believe there's any deals that have been struck. I personally have not seen a map of any districts. I haven't even seen my own district yet. So to say that there have been deals struck, I think maybe people are just trying to create some activity. I don't believe there have been, and I'm not aware of any deals that have been struck, and I haven't even been able to strike a deal for my own new district.
Well, there you go. Have any of the Republicans at the national level suggested to you, or do you think it would be appropriate to protect Bob Turner now that he's the messenger and the standard bearer and the referendum bringer, if you will, to the Obama administration?
I think those will be discussions that move forward. I mean, obviously, we know that there has to be, I think, a couple of congressional districts that disappear. The theory has always been one Democrat, one Republican.
Correct.
I think Bob Turner's victory has been a great victory. I do think, unlike what the Democrats are spinning, I think it is a referendum on Obama. It is a hugely Democratic district, and I think people are frustrated and they're not happy with the way the president is performing. And, you know, Turner had the right message, and I mean, I know David Weprin well, and, you know, he's a good legislator, and they obviously weren't ready to send another Democrat to Congress. So I think it's a referendum on the president, quite frankly.
Well, this is actually also going to be another one of those long-time playing out scenarios. So I'm sure that you and I will talk again about it. In the meantime, stay dry out there. Please, Senator, stay dry.
We will, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks.